Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today another not unboxing or new watch alert, it's just a reveal as I'm bit by bit catching up of some new watch alerts from the last few years when I didn't have a YouTube channel yet, and now I want to share another watch in my collection since May 2021. This, as you can see, is a Rolex. By the title you probably know already which one it is. So this is the box comes with. It's the old box. The newer one, of course, is a little bit different. I haven't seen it yet. And here is the Starbucks, as I call it. Some people call it the Cermet because of the ceramic. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'll go into the story. Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? So the green, I think, really pops. So this is the first iteration of this model. The newer one, I think, was released in 2023 or 2024, where the green bezel is a little bit different. I'm not sure how different, as I never saw them next to each other, but that's no problem for me because I'm really happy with this watch. I haven't wound it yet. You can see it standing still. I did this on purpose so that I can show you a little bit how this pops. This goes normally fairly quickly. The second hand should be moving pretty soon. I hope, at least. There we go. So I heard from a watchmaker once that you should have around 40 winds with an automatic watch before wearing it. So I'll put it a little bit. I think I should be at about 40. Close it. So yeah, as I usually do with my watches, which I'm revealing bit by bit, I go into the story of why I bought it or how I bought it. You can see I have worn it, but not that much. It's really clean still. Also here there's a few scratches, of course, which are happening within wearing it at the office. What I really like about the Submariner, so this was my very first Submariner and only Submariner that I have, is you can very easily change the size. So this is pretty big, I think. So my wrist is 18.5 centimeters. So it's not small, but it's not massive. But you can see that the clasp takes quite a lot of my arm. But it's really easy to make it smaller. You pull it out and then move it along and wait for the click. And now it should be a bit tighter, a bit better. Yeah. So now it's not wobbly. You can see here it's very good on the wrist. All right. So let's go into the story of this watch. So this is the Rolex Submariner of 2021. I think the new model was released in 2020, exactly 2020. And I was back then in 2020 still hoping for a Hulk. But so he now goes in here. Let's zoom it in a little bit so we can look at the watch while I am speaking. Oh, that's better, I think. So let me go into the story. When I bought this, I did not have such a stable or not such a strong relationship with my ADs, which I have now, because back then I was really starting to get into Rolex watches and really collecting, let's say lots of watches. I already had bought my Breitling Batman from my AD, so that was my first and back then only Rolex I bought from an AD myself, and that was in 2019. And then this one was released in because back then when I asked for the Batman, you can check out my video just a couple of weeks ago. When I asked for my Batman, it went really well, and I got it pretty quick, I think within 6 or 7 months. But back then, before I asked, I learned that it's always good to ask for one watch if it's Rolex. and not say, well, I want this one, that one, and that one. It makes it a bit difficult for them to, okay, prioritize. So my strategy has always been to ask basically for one specific Rolex watch when I'm really interested in it. And back then I was thinking, okay, either the Hulk or the Batman, but I like the GMT function, and I like blue is like my favorite color. So I said, okay, I will go for the Batman, and never asked for the Hulk. And then 1 year later, without knowing, the Hulk was discontinued and this was released. And that made it even harder, I think, to get this, because it was brand new. And as it is with Rolex, within the first few years of a new release, and back then in 2020, 2021, you know, that was the height of the boom of Rolex because of COVID, etc. So it became really difficult to get this. Either way, I still asked my preferred dealer. Back then I had bought, I don't know, I think 4 or 5 watches from him, including the Batman. And I asked him for this one, and he couldn't really commit as he did with the Batman. And it was very well, we'll see, and let's talk about it. And somehow I didn't feel that it was taken serious, and it was a sure thing, like it was with the Batman. So I got a little bit worried, but I was like, okay, never mind. I asked a few months later, and it was the same or similar reaction. So I thought, shit, and this is not going the way I was hoping. It's not going the way it went with the Batman. So what I did is I asked my other AD, which was local to me, very big AD, very well known within Europe, where I had a good relationship also, but not such like on a personal level. I have a video on that also if you're interested, so you should really check out some of my older videos from the last few months if you're interested in these stories. So back to this one. So then I asked the other AD, which I usually never do, for the same watch. I said, hey, you know, I want this and that watch. I'm really excited about it, and can you make it happen? And back then I had already bought the Explorer 2 with them, with the black dial, just before it got discontinued, and the new black dial came. I've sold that watch already, which is why I cannot reveal it. So what I did is ask the second AD, local to me, very big, and I kind of said, okay, you know, I'll do what it takes to get this, because I want this for my birthday. And my birthday was about, let me think, I think it was about 3 months away. So when I first asked this second AD, where in the end I got it from, that was about 3 months to go to my birthday. I was getting a little bit nervous. I said, okay, yeah, I'll do what it takes, but I really want to get it. And I said, I have asked for it on another AD, but I'm not sure if I can get it, and when I get it, or if I get it on time. So let's talk about it. So he went back to the manager and said, yeah, okay, you can get it. Yeah, we'll get it for you. Just give us some time. And on that day, there was another watch which was newly released from IWC. Unfortunately, I sold that a few months ago to get another watch. There's a lot of watches I couldn't reveal, but now as I have the channel, I will be revealing everything that I have also before I sell it. So yeah, what I bought then is the IWC Big Pilot. So this was the first few weeks when it got released in 2021. So this was in April or May, when April was released, and in May it was there. And I bought it on the spot. So I bought the IWC 43 Big Pilot, small as I call it, the small Big Pilot with the black dial. I bought it on the spot. And that was probably my 4th watch with that specific AD. 3rd or 4th, I'm not 100% sure. And then he went back, so my sales person went back after I paid the IWC, went back to the manager without really talking to me, and brought this one out. And I was like, yeah, wow, that's the one I was talking about. That's the one I want. And he said, yeah, this is yours. And I was like, yeah, what do you mean this is mine? Like this specific one? Or is that the one I'm going to get for my birthday? He said, no, it's exactly this one. If you want to take it, you can have it now. And yeah, that was, of course, as you can imagine, an amazing feeling, because I had almost half a year with my other AD who was always delivered in the end, but with this one, I was lucky then to get it from the other one. Because I really wanted it for my birthday. This was my priority, and back then I was just starting to get really into the Rolex game. I didn't have a Pepsi yet. I didn't have a Daytona yet. I didn't have the Sky Dweller yet. I only had the Batman and the Explorer 2, and kind of not such like really hyped Rolex watches. Although I know the Batman is also, or the Batgirl it was, is also hyped, but this was back then more hyped. This was going for 19,000 on the gray market. And I bought it for, I think, 8,700. Not 100% sure anymore. But this was basically 1 year and 1 month after it got released. And yeah, I'm super happy with it. I really like to wear it. It's not so shiny. Yes, the green is very nice and shiny, but the bracelet is not compared to the Jubilee or the Oyster bracelet. This is a lot more toned down as it's brushed. And yeah, I really like to wear it. It's for a dive watch. It's quite slim, I think. The only downside is it has a very long clasp, but that's, you know, needed for the sizing. So yeah, that was my story. Then to finish this story up, the interesting part was that the sales guy who sold me this unfortunately wrote the wrong date on the guarantee card. So I don't have it here with me. I store it somewhere else. And the guarantee card, it always has a date which is put on manually. And he put the date, I think instead of 2021, he made it 2025 or something like this. And I saw this when I paid for it, and I said, well wait a minute, the date is wrong. It's in the future. And so I never experienced such a problem. But what happened then is that they took the guarantee card back, and I went out with the watch. So I packed it and unboxed it on my birthday a few months later then. But they sent that guarantee card back to Rolex for Rolex to be sure that, you know, they're not doing double cards or something. And then for the same watch, my card was produced again with, of course, my serial number, which I'm not showing, of course. And it's produced back and then sent back, and that took about 3 months. So just an interesting story that I don't know if anybody has experienced something like that. I've not heard this yet, and since then, of course, I've not had any issues with that. But yeah, that was an interesting story to getting this watch and then wearing it on my birthday in 2021. So that's now almost 4 years ago. Really happy about this watch. I have no desire whatsoever to sell it. I also have no desire whatsoever to get the newer green bezel. As for me, green is green. I'm sure it's a little bit different, but for me, it doesn't really have a reason to get it. If they would come back with a Hulk kind of watch, so green bezel, green dial, then yes, absolutely, I would be really interested in it. But like this, this will be my watch. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a bit longer now than planned. I always try to stay at about 10 minutes, but if I talk about Rolex or specific experiences, often I take a little bit longer. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions about this specific story, let me know. If you like this, check out my other videos. There's a lot of videos about this kind of topics with ADs and how my experiences are, what I buy, etc. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to the comments, and goodbye.